everybody. Welcome to Mid-America Dirt, and I am honored to be joined by Mr. Ken Essary. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Trying to stay cool.
Yeah, it has
it's
been warm.
it's kind of hard to do these days. Uh, well, everybody who watches this show is probably going to know who you are. Um, I've researched a little bit, um, about how you started. Did you get your start racing at the fairgrounds at Springfield?
Yes, fairgrounds and at Monette. They ran late models just a few times when I started, and then they've always run some late models there, but they didn't. I started at towards the end of the year in 1971, so uh, only got to run a few shows in 71, and then we ran 72 on.
Did you come from a racing family?
No, no. I had an uncle that raced and drove one a couple of times and Dean Bowling and my mother's brother, and then we went to watch him race, and then he I think the second time he raced he turned over, so he came back and he put a built some more cars and put John Kendig, Paul Davenport, Junior Bonstead in cars and that he owned, and we would go watch them race at the fairgrounds, and just wanted to do it and got started. And I was too old to start when I started, but I got to start in 71. So it was a lot of fun.
That Yeah, well, that's pretty amazing considering how many feature races you've won. You just kind of starting on your own. I mean, that's 800 plus feature wins. Is that right?
Yeah, it was before our house burnt. Rod Jenkins sat in here a couple of nights and figured out we had 800 and some feature wins, and then we won a few after that. So I don't know exactly what it was. We had it all. We had all the records, and when our house burnt in '09, we lost all of our records. So um, we lost a lot of memories. I mean, a lot of things that we could look back on, memories that we could talk about and things that's happened but it just happened. So
Yeah, that's terrible. I'm sure that was just absolutely priceless. Um, information and stuff that you had there. How long? Because you've been you raced in some of the toughest racing I know on dirt track wise that there is. At West Plains, Batesville, Monette, all in this area, and just years worth of amazing, an amazing career. How were the old days back then? Racing. How big? How much? What was the competition like between, let's say, you and Moyer and Fry? Were you guys? Was it pretty heated competition?
the competition back then, for the most part, was altogether different than it is now, because everybody then would help each other. It was
Okay.
it was a battle, but yet if you rubbed a few fenders and after the race, why, ever who won, why, they would congratulate each other, and it was just a racing deal. Now it just doesn't seem like that it's that way. Not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but I think the mindset or something, maybe it's the expense or whatever it is of racing now, but it's not like the old days.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've heard from everybody that it's just really gone up. The price of everything. Back in those days, I mean, what were tires and stuff like that? You know what? Do you remember what the cost of a tire was
Well, when we
and a
started
motor?
MLRA in 1989, I think the tires were $75, if I'm not mistaken, and right in that area. And then, we were in our area. We have some flats. We were on on a American Racer tire, a D40. Well, I believe it was a D40. Isn't that right, Justin? And we were still having some flats, and Joe Jacobs was over American Racer, and Jerry Bobin, good friend, Bobin Tire. That's who we went through on tires, and we all talked, and American Racer was good enough to put another 125 thousandths overlay of rubber over the cords to so people didn't have flats, and which once we done that, it pretty much stopped all of our flats. And with this extra rubber that was on the tires, the guys could come back in after they were tires were worn down pretty bad. With that extra rubber, regroove them and get a few more nights of racing out of it. And the ones that wanted new tires, they could sell these other tires to uh, maybe the little bit lower budget racers or beginners, and sure saved them a lot of money. And as Justin was talking a while ago on the sportsman class, they used the same tire, so that made their tires really cheap at that time, and they didn't have a lot of flats on them. So, and I think at that time the tires was about $80 a piece. So,
Okay.
with the
So
extra
yeah, they've
rubber on them.
gone up a lot then. Well, like how much were your how much what was everybody running? What were you running in your late model, let's say, back in those early days? What kind of power were you running?
What kind of what?
Kind of power, like
Power?
motor wise,
Oh,
yeah.
probably 650, 700 horsepower, maybe. We
Okay.
never did one of our motors. We never did have on a dyno. We always built our own engines, and
Okay.
my racing. We won a lot of races, done good, but I probably had the best crew chief. I call him crew chief friend that helped on the car, William Todd. He started with me when we first started, and you know he was no doubt the best at looking at a race car, figuring out things, um, building motors, of anybody around. I mean, we built a lot of engines for other people, a lot of cars for other people, and William helped me for years and years. And what little luck that I've had racing, William's the biggest part of it. So
Okay. Okay. That's awesome. I was talking to you. I told you guys I interviewed a guy last night that told me a story about you that when he was a kid, he was watching you at Springfield. You started on the back of the feature, and by the time you came back around to the flag, you had gone around everybody else in the race
yeah, that
on the
was
first
one.
lap.
Yeah, then they threw a flag and we had to do it again, but that was that was quite the deal. So,
So you did it again.
yeah.
That's awesome. That's
I think
awesome.
we started 16th. I think they started 16 cars. We passed 15 cars at one lap.
Okay. That's amazing. Uh, Now, did you? We've talked about MLRA and IMCA. Did you start some series for people who don't know? Did you have a hand in starting some racing series?
1989, Randy Mooneyham and Charles Lipscomb and myself started MLRA. And
Okay, so you are a founder, one of the founders of
yes,
the
yes,
MLRA.
yes,
Okay.
yeah, MLRA, Bolivar and Lebanon was going asphalt, and Randy, the years before, um, Monette and Lebanon and Bolivar all worked together. Well, Bill Willard wanted Monette to go asphalt too, and Randy had so many good guys that ran Monette, loyal to him over the years. He didn't want to asphalt, and he was a dirt track owner at heart. So we were talking. He said, "I just don't know what I'm going to do." And I said, "Well, why don't you just start your own series?" And I said, and and do races to other tracks. So he said, I kind of like the idea. He said, I'll think about it. And he called me back and he said, I'll do it if you'll be a part of it. And so he came down on a Sunday morning and we sat at the table, and I gave him my ideas and he had his ideas. And when he left, it was MLRA, and Randy worked for Charles Lipscomb's motor company selling cars. So Charles needed to be a part of it so he could get off work. And we we all went together and started MLRA.
Golly, I mean that's some history right there. I
And
mean,
we had Monette see as a mother track. So if we could get races like at Fayetteville on a Saturday night, then we could come to Monette on a Sunday night, and or we could put a 3-day weekend together, so the guys didn't have to travel that far. And at that time, we was paying $2,000 to win, $200 to start, and with the price of tires and everything, everybody was
it,
coming out.
yeah. I mean, I was, it's that same guy I was talking to you last night. We were talking about that. I mean, the payout on the races today are not much more than they were then, if at all.
No, no.
It's just,
Weekly racing now isn't much more than it was back. Um, when in the 70s and early 80s, we could go to Muskogee, Oklahoma, and come back with $1,200-$1,500 on a weekly show.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Why do you think that is? Do you think it's because the people are maybe the stands aren't as full? Because I remember when I was young, it seemed like the stands were always, it looked pretty packed everywhere I went. But do you think that's the reason, or what are your ideas on that?
I don't know. You can look at other states like Iowa when they have the races there. The stands are full. A lot of people in the stands. They can have the same race here, and they're not half the people there. So I don't know whether we've just got so much for uh, entertainment. Maybe Branson herds. I don't know if it's the casinos. I don't know, but it's they just don't draw the crowd that they used to, and the expense to the tracks have gone up so much too. Uh, it's a tough situation. It's a tough deal to make it work for the racers and the tracks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just hate to see, there are a couple of tracks out here in Oklahoma they're just sitting there. Nobody's running on, and that's kind of tough to see. And uh, Red Dirt Raceway, I went there one time last year. That was a fun track to watch racing at, and it's just it's not running, and I hate to see that happen.
Yeah, we
And
used to
I
have
think
so
they're
many tracks that we could run 5 and 6 nights a week sometimes, or about all the time. Usually we'd run at least 5 nights a week, and there's that's just unheard of. Monette, if they got rained out on Sunday night, Tuesday night was a makeup night. Um, if Fayetteville got rained out, then usually we could go there on Sunday afternoon and come back to Monette on Sunday night. So things have just changed so much.
now. What was your what was your favorite track to run on?
Well, probably Monette and Fayetteville.
Okay.
We've
Okay.
had, I there was a lot of tracks that I really enjoyed going to, but um, Fayetteville and Monette probably been my favorite 2 tracks.
Yeah. What'd you think about West Plains? Now, West Plains was kind of my home track when I was a kid. That's where I always watched you guys race at most of the time
When
was at West
West
Plains,
Plains first opened in, was it 89 that they opened, or 90?
right in there
Uh,
somewhere.
right in there. Why, that was a great track when Bill and Marvin Ball built that track. I mean, the stands would be full. They would be 4, 5,
Yeah.
6,000 people there, and it was a great track. Yeah, it was at that time it was really good, but it didn't have the wall around it, and it was Um, just a great track. And then when Billy and Don Gibson bought it, why they did a great job running it too. But for some reason, excuse me, they didn't draw the crowd that Marvin and Bill did.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see that track have some big races again, at some point. I mean,
I would too.
I think it needs it. I mean, that track's a part of racing history, as
It
far as I'm
is.
concerned. So,
Yeah, it's and that's the birthplace of the Show Me 100, and uh, there for years it probably put on some of the best races of any track in the country.
let me ask you this question. I was asking somebody about this the other day. Did they used to have a Tampa races at West Plains?
Yes, they've had a habitat there. Yeah, uh-huh.
That's
The
what I thought.
Billy's son run half of Tampa one year. I think he was rookie of the year. David, I think he was
Gibson.
rookie of the year. So yes, they've had to
Okay.
have a Tampa series there.
You know, I forgot he used to race. I forgot about that. He used to race. I do remember that. And then there was a guy from, I remember a guy from Walnut Ridge. What's his name? Floyd? Does that sound right?
Yeah, Jeff Floyd, and
I remember him racing with you guys a lot.
he had a son,
Randy.
Randy was the dad. Jeff was the son.
Yeah.
F1.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I remember that. You know, I thought there was somebody that raced with you guys from down there. I couldn't remember for sure the name, but yeah,
Good.
man, some great racing. Great racing I
Good
saw.
guys, really good guys.
Do you still get the itch to get back in that car? Do you,
Oh,
it
it
still,
would be fun, but you know, the cars are so different now than they were used to. The setups are so different. I don't know that I could even drive one now.
you
But
know, I
yeah, it'd still be
interviewed
fun if it wasn't sold.
Yeah. So you still got that itch to do it. That's something you know, I wanted to ask you about.
Well, I
Like,
think
you
it's
know,
probably, if you be honest, like it'd be like smoking. You never, you never forget to want one. I never did smoke, so I don't know. I can't say that for sure how it was, but
well, yeah, I'm not going to comment on that one, but yeah, I talked to Moyer. I interviewed Moyer at Thunderbird at that Hayden Ross Memorial, and we were talking about the cars. I'd asked him, how do you like running these new late models compared to, you know, what I saw you guys in when I was young, you know, the wedges and the wedge style late models and stuff. And he said that you make one little error on these new cars and it can take you from first place, you know, to 15th in a heartbeat. It's just that they're so sensitive and so technologically advanced, I guess.
yeah, they're so aerodynamic now that you know it's hard to set a guy up and pass him because uh, you get the air off the nose and the car won't turn. You just take off pushing and with the old cars that we ran, you know, you was looking ahead and seeing where a guy ran and another thing, some anymore, a guy might change his line 3 times every lap, and used to everybody kind of ran their own race, and you could look ahead and kind of see where to be when you caught someone, and now it's not that way, and I don't know whether it's due to the fact that of the setup of the car or where it's the air off the other cars that makes it that way. It's just it's altogether different. But what's kind of odd about the deal, you can look at the times from back several years ago and the times now. Some of the track records were set a few years ago.
Yeah.
And you should be on a better tire now than we were then. So
Now,
it's different.
what kind of tires? Let me ask you about the tires. I didn't ask Justin about this. What kind of tire do you like the hard tires or are you a soft tire? Do you have a preference on the tires?
I think everybody ought to be on a hard tire. So everybody has got then he puts it back into the driver's hand, and instead of the dollar, instead of the pocketbook, you know, it. I just I don't like the tires they've got now at all. It's just not. You know, you take say one on the Show Me series when Justin won probably more races than anyone on it. Everybody was on the same tire. You didn't get beat by tires because everybody had the same tire. Now,
Yeah.
the one that can pick the right tire might not be the fastest car, but he might finish the race where the others had flats or whatever. And if everybody's on the same tire and it's a hard tire and everybody finishes and don't have flats, that's why we had the extra rubber put on the American Racer when we had the MLRA series, because you can't. Everybody needs to go home with some money. You lead that race, 39 laps out of 40, have a flat tire. You've wasted your whole night, plus lost a lot of money, and it's just not a good deal. All the flat tires and stuff, and you can't watch any race now that there's not
Oh
a
yeah.
half dozen flat tires.
Yeah. Yeah. And it costs people races. I
Yeah,
mean,
and the
that's,
price of tires now, I'm talking about $80 tire against a $250 tire or whatever they are now.
yeah. Now I'm going to have to ask you this question because I've got people that have asked me to ask you this question. So do you guys still talk? You and Fry and Warrior and all those guys you raced with back in the day, or did you guys ever talk? I guess
Oh
maybe.
yeah, if we're at a race, we see each other, sure, we talk. Um, you know, the old, yeah, we're all good friends. Billy and Fry, and we were at one of the show me's here not very long ago at Wheatland, and Bob Pierce and I was standing there talking about old times, and everything, and uh, they're they're still great guys. I mean, Wendell Wallace, Brian, and Daryl, yeah, Barry Wright, and all of them. They always come and talk when we see each other. Just everybody was friendly back then, which I guess they
Who,
still are
who,
now. But it's just kind of a different atmosphere.
I got you. Who was your biggest rival? Did you have a biggest rival, or who was the
The,
tough? I guess who was your biggest rival? Who did you? I guess who was your toughest competition?
Probably in this area, Larry Phillips.
Okay. Okay. See, I didn't get to watch him a whole lot. I watched him and Terry, race there at West Plains a few times back in the early '90s a bit. I didn't get to watch him a lot, so I didn't know about him.
We
So
had a lot of real good racers start this, in this area that were Bill Bryan, Wendell Wallace, and Leslie, my son, and Rex McCroskey, and
Rex McCroskey, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. I remember him too.
yeah, it took a pretty good car to come to Monette and win the race, and then Justin has kind of one of the younger ones that stayed there, and now he's one of the tougher ones in this around in this area. So, but
Absolutely.
lots of good racers has come from this area.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is racing country over here.
You know,
That's what I think.
Mark Martin used to come up here, and we'd go down to Batesville and race, and the Wallaces and Schrader, and Schrader, when he comes to Springfield, he'll still call me once in a while. So
Yeah.
he's a mess. So, but
Well, Mr. Essing, I'm not going to take up any more time. It's been an absolute honor to talk to you. Thank you so much for coming on here and talking to me and the people who might see this. I certainly very, very much appreciate it.
Well, thank you, and keep your show going, and cause it's people like you that's going to help racing survive, and you know, if we don't, if we don't keep bringing these replacements up, it's going to be dead one of these days. It's just like, running beef cattle or milking cows, whatever. If you don't have replacements coming on, you're not going to be in business. And that's that. If they don't get these cars and tires and stuff to where people can afford to do it, they're going to be out of business. So
Yes,
I hope
sir.
they wise up and get it to where it's affordable, and make it to where you can put people in the stands, and racers can afford to come.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I 100% agree. Well, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it, and have a good rest of your afternoon.
You too. Thank you very much.